Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about friendships in your 20s and what friendship is like after marriage and how it kind of changes. But before we get started, if you haven't yet subscribed or followed us, please go ahead and do that. We post once a week on Wednesdays, and if you already are a weekly listener, we just want to say thank you. And yeah, that's about it. We'll get started on this little conversation. We're going to start off talking about like high school friendships versus what your friendships are like after high school. Because in some ways, depending on the friendship, I feel like it changes a lot. And if you're in your 20s, you definitely like have figured that out by now. I feel like it also depends on if you go to college or not, because neither one of us went to college after high school.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where a lot of people meet like their
long time
friends.
Yeah, like long-term friends.
Yeah,
or like
but we didn't do that. Yeah. We didn't do that. So I feel like it's kind of harder to make friends when you don't go to college. I'd say like as an adult, because a lot of your high school friendships change, you know. After you graduate, you have to be so much more intentional with spending time together. Yeah. Because when you're in high school, it's like you're almost like forced to be with those people. Like you're around them all the time.
Yeah, you got to be nice to an extent.
Yeah, well, so you're just with them all the time. Like you don't have to plan things. You're doing fun things like, you know, like your sports or whatever your extracurricular things are. So you get to do fun things and you don't have to plan it. But like once you graduate, if you don't go to college and you're not seeing those people a lot, you have to be like intentional
about your time.
Yeah. You have to do the planning. Like it's not just going to be like put in front of you. And if you're not giving, like both people aren't giving effort, you're probably never going to see your friends again.
Yeah. Which is really hard because once you get out of like high school, most people jump straight into like a job, career, school, or whatever it is. And it's hard to divvy up that time, especially learning that first off. Trying to divvy your time between those two different things and juggling, you know,
and
if your relationships as well. Adding all those things together is really hard to juggle and really maintain a deep relationship with your friends. And that's probably why like that would be the hardest thing I would say on my list. And I would also assume yours is divvying up that time to be your friends with that person and putting in the effort for it.
Making the transition from like high school to like after high school with your friends, like making it through that transition, I feel like is a really like big accomplishment, because it can be really hard because like you said, everybody's going a different direction. You're all starting your lives, your own life. Yeah. So it's definitely hard to like make time. I feel like it's a really good like test of your friendship to see like, you know, how strong. How strong. That was the word I was looking for. How strong your friendship really is. Because a lot of people like stop going to high school together and then you just fall off. Yeah.
I think that was like 90% of my friendships, which they were okay. A lot of people use friendships as like a very broad statement. Like, oh, that person's my friend. Like, oh, you met them today.
Hey,
are you
don't
sure?
Don't call me out.
No. I do this too, to an extent. Like,
no,
that person's my friend. That person's my friend.
You're
is that person my friend?
You're but very selective on who you call your friends. I'm the one who calls everybody my friend.
I'm sorry. It's either acquaintances, which I feel like people need to use that more. Because they're not...
friend just sounds nicer.
It's true, but they're not automatically your friend.
Yeah.
As soon as you... I feel like you have to have a deeper connection with that person to be like, that's my friend, you know, that's my friend.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you have to like go through things and like build with that person, like have experiences and, you know, stuff like that. Which this is random, but I saw this thing on TikTok the other day and it was like, you don't deserve to have friendship. Like, you don't deserve it.
Interesting.
Like, it's a gift. But if you're not someone who other people want to be friends with, like, you don't deserve it. Like, people don't have to be friends with you.
I mean, I guess that's true.
This just made me think of this because, like, in high school...
Okay, that's kind of rude, though, because what if someone's, like, super weird and they can't help it?
Well, we're not talking about weird, because if there's definitely people out there who, like, are weird too, and they could be friends.
I know. There's always a group of friends. I know. I'm sorry. There's always a group of friends that you're gonna be able to intertangle with. Like, if you're genuinely trying to be a good person and push yourself to be that friend, it makes sense.
Yeah. I just saw that and I was like, dang. And the girl's like, I've never heard anybody else talk about this before. And I was like, that's true. Like, nobody really does talk about it, but you're not entitled to friendship. People don't have to be friends with you.
Yeah.
Like, they'll choose to be friends with you if you're like, you know, a nice, fun person to be around. And I feel like that really comes into play after high school, because when you're in high school, it's kind of like you're around those people all the time.
Yeah.
So you're almost like forced to be friends with them. But like after high school, you know, if you're not a good person, good, quote unquote, good person, nice person, like a fun person to be around.
Yeah.
People aren't like forced to be friends with you anymore. And you're kind of just like,
man, for all those people out there that are lonely, feel bad for you,
but
because you must suck to hang around.
No, that's not always the case though, you know, because like, I don't know, I feel like there's definitely people who just, you haven't met your people yet.
Yeah.
I don't feel like in every situation it's like, you know, if you don't feel like you have friends.
I know.
Like, I just want to clarify that. If you don't feel like you have friends, that doesn't mean you're like a bad person or something, but it was just the point of like,
yeah, it's not deserving. It's
you're
earned.
You have to like earn friendships. You don't just deserve them. Which I think a lot of people kind of struggle with after high school. Like, they just expect you to stay friends with them.
Yeah.
But like, if they're not adding to your life in a positive way, or like, you know, then there's really no point to stay friends with that person. Which, that's not every situation. Obviously, sometimes people just fall off. Like, you're not intentionally like trying not to be friends with that person. You just, you know, you both get busy.
I've been friends with two guys my whole life, and like there's been times where they'll take a break off. Like, I won't hear from them for like months, and then they'll come back and be like, hey, what's going on? And we'll pick it up from there.
Yeah, y'all are so funny. They hang out like once a year and they're best friends.
I love them to death. Do anything for him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just something I feel like changes a lot when you like get out of high school. Your friendships are definitely constantly always changing and evolving. And, you know, not the same people don't always stay in your life, but there are those certain people that like you're talking about, they're like, you know,
they're just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what. Yeah. I love that. Love those guys. Love those guys.
So I would say if you don't have, like, if you don't feel like you have your people, or if you feel like you have friends, but you don't know like which ones are the ones to like keep, or like the good friends, things that we found like
helpful.
Well, I guess helpful.
I mean, it's really kind of just a guideline.
Qualities that we
like
look for in our friends. Yeah. I definitely would say like friends that are like, if they're already your friend or you're becoming friends with someone, if they're friends with you through things like good and bad. Yeah. Because, which I guess I was still in high school when this happened, but I went through like a really, really rough year, and it was crazy because I felt like I pretty much walked through that year like alone. I had a couple friends that reached out, but for the most part, all the people that I thought were my friends, like nobody showed up for me. Yeah. And I feel like I had to walk through like a lot of stuff, like hard stuff alone. And so if you can find somebody who will be right there next to you, walking through literally, you know, the worst parts of your life with you. Yeah. I feel like that's like a friendship you should treasure, because that's not common. Like, people don't want to put themselves in uncomfortable situations. Yeah. So if they're willing to do that for you,
it's pretty big.
Then they're your true friend. Yeah. You know?
I mean, obviously I would say that there's other qualities, but that one is huge.
Yeah. I mean, that one shows who your true friends are.
Yeah. That does kind of weed it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because if they're not going to be there for you when you're like, I feel like that's what friendship is. It's going through life together, being there for each other through the good and the bad times. Like, you make the good times better and the bad times better. Yeah. Or like, even if you don't make them better, you're still walking through with that person, so they're not feeling alone. Yeah. Which is something I've tried to like take from my experience that was kind of painful, like seeing people not show up for me and like being disappointed in that, and trying to use that to be a better friend and like showing up for people, you know, when I can see that they need a friend or they're walking through something hard. But on the flip side of that, they shouldn't just be there for you when you're going through something bad. Yeah. They should also be there for you when you're going through something good. Yeah. You know, like both sides, because some people,
celebrating your victories, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
Like, they should be happy for your successes. Because I feel like there's like a lot of like jealous friendships and like jealous people. Like, they don't want you to do well and they don't want you to do better than them.
Yeah, the better up one.
I hate that.
The better up friend.
I don't understand that at all. I'm like the type of person, like, I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to do well, you know, whether I'm your friend or not. Like, I would never just like prey on someone's downfall.
Well,
and there's people that are like that.
there was there was something that I was reading the other day that falls aligned with this, is that a lot of people that prey on people's downfall view that as like a success for them, and that's how they see it. Because a lot of people that don't have that and they're preying on that is that person fell, I'm not falling. So I'm greater than thou, basically.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that mindset during that. Now that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Some people you just don't like and you hope that they trip and fall. I'm joking.
I don't feel that way. Like, even thinking about like friendships that I used to have that have like ended now and we're not friends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't just sit here and think, man, I hope that person just has an awful life and I hope they don't succeed in anything that they do.
I'm joking.
No, I know, but some people genuinely are like that.
I know.
Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't care if I like you or not. I want good for everyone.
Yeah,
obviously you're not going to like everyone.
Don't wish ill malice. I think that's the word.
I don't know, something like that.
Don't wish ill malice.
But,
or don't have malice.
You know, just be a good person. Be happy for your friends when something good happens to them. Be there for them to celebrate them. Like, I have friends that I've been friends with for so long. And every chance, like, I've told you this, specifically one friend that this just sticks out in my mind. And I always tell you it's this friend.
Yeah.
That no matter what has happened, good or bad, she's always shown up for me.
Yeah.
And when something good happens, she's like the first person to show up for me.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to be there to celebrate me. No matter what it is. If it's a birthday, like, which is small to some people, she makes it feel like the biggest thing. Like, she's there to like support you. She was there for my wedding. Like, just like the big things that have happened that have been exciting.
Yeah.
She's been there and like cheered me on and just made it like even more fun and like better, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something special because not all friends do that. Like, I've had friends over the years that like they would show up to things, but like it wasn't to like enhance the experience. Like, it was almost like it was more about them.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like a lot of people are like that. So if you have friends that will like go all out for you and they show up and they just want to like celebrate you and just, you know, love on you, like, I feel like that's so special and like rare. Yeah. You know?
It's huge.
And I feel like you have the same.
That's
with
all
your
my friends.
Yeah.
That's all my friends. They'll be happy no matter what I do. So I'm happy with anything and everything they do. I mean, there's no sense in wishing anyone bad. You're here,
especially your friends.
Yeah, you're here on this earth to lift yourself up and lift others up. Like, there's no sense in putting other people's down in that sense.
Yeah, which a lot of people do it. I don't know why. But oh goodness. Okay. Anyways, so the next thing I would say is like we already kind of talked on, your time and your energy.
That's huge.
You have to give that in friendship, especially after you get out of high school. Cause like we said, you're not seeing those people all the time. Yeah. And like, I've definitely seen like friendships of mine just fall off just because like we didn't put time to see each other or to talk. Like, there was no effort, you know?
Well, I think energy also has to be a huge part of that. And so like time is one thing, but energy is another thing. Because if you're a friend that's just taking the energy out of the person in the sense of like, let's say that we're having a conversation and it's just constantly going back. We're going to go back to the one thing that I was saying like earlier about just draining the person and putting them down. That's like sucking energy away from you. They're not putting energy into the same thing. They're not taking the uplifting. They're not putting the same amount of effort into y'all's conversation, or whether that be going to see people or whether that
Which
be,
I agree.
You know, talking in that sense. Because there's a lot of a lot of dry texters out there that are quote unquote friends.
Yeah. Well, I get what you mean though. Cause like, especially when you're hanging out with someone as an adult, you have a limited time to hang out with people. Yeah. So if I'm taking the time out of my day to come hang out with you and you're doing the same for me, why would we not give like high energy, excitement, like we want to be there and like,
Yeah.
you know, be a good friend, because you're busy as an adult. You don't have a lot of time to like just hang out with people like you do when you're in high school.
If you're going to
You know?
go hang out with depressing Eeyore all the time, you don't want that.
Like, you see your friends like once a year
Yeah.
since you graduated,
Yeah.
which is so sad. You should see them more. But
I agree.
like y'all will like once or twice a year you've planned something and you'll all get together. And I know you guys are not just sitting around like being depressing and they're not draining your energy. Like, you're going and you're having a good time.
Yeah.
You know? Which I just think is really important, because obviously it shows like y'all are all busy, but you can come together and like have a good time.
Oh yeah.
And like, same with me. Like, one of my best friends lives out of state, and whenever she comes up, no matter what we're doing, like, we have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, we'll make time for each other whenever we get to see each other, and we just have a good time. It doesn't matter.
It's always so nice too, as like a married couple, seeing that person come back like so refreshed, and like it's almost like a refresher. I mean, I already use the refresh, but like in the sense of, it's so nice to just see like a reset of the person coming back in, and it's ready for the relationship again, which is, I think, is a huge thing as well.
Yeah, because you definitely need friend time.
Yeah,
for sure. Like, I just feel like that's, you know, it keeps you
it's
at a healthy
important.
balance.
Yeah, it's an important thing. You don't.
You
as
can't
much
just
as
do
you-
one relationship all the time. Like, I love you to death, and you know, vice versa. We love each other and we love spending time together, but you need friend time. Like, it's just different, and you can like I've told you like how important my girl friendships are to me, because like, you can't relate to me the same way that my friends can, because they're girls and they understand like what I'm going through.
Oh yeah. I get it.
So it's definitely important.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry, I'm like so out of breath. I'm like getting into this. I love talking about friendships, because like I just love friends and I love people, and so I don't know.
That's why I see my friends once a year. I'm a homebody.
Yeah, that's true. We're like totally opposite. I'll be like, hey babe, can we go do this weekend? He'll be like, babe, I really wanted to stay home, but sure.
Well, it's just I'm gone all the time. That's it. Well,
that's true.
The other thing that I was thinking was the common beliefs, and like having common beliefs with your friends, I think, is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Picking friends that are actually going to uphold your morals / your goals type deal.
I feel like common beliefs are important, but you also you need to accept each other's differences too.
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna believe exactly the same as like your friend.
Yeah.
Or even like me and you. Like, we're not gonna think and believe the exact same thing on every single thing. We need to be close. We need to be similar, because we're like married, you know?
Yeah.
Which I feel like it's the same way with your friendships. Like, I can't think of one friend of mine who shares every belief
Oh yeah.
that I have.
Oh yeah. We all don't do the same thing. We don't all like, we're not the carbon copies of everyone. That's what makes everyone different. What makes you draws to another person is like,
and everybody's been through different experiences and things that cause them to believe different things, you know, which I feel like is something important to take into consideration when you're thinking about this. Obviously you want to have like in common beliefs, because like that would be pretty hard to be friends with someone who doesn't share any of your common beliefs, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like definitely like accepting the fact that like your friends are going to be different. They're going to have different preferences.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm extremely grateful for my friends, because I feel like I can tell them what I think about issues.
Yeah.
Even knowing that they don't believe the same thing as me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they don't care.
Yeah.
They'll give me their opinion. I can give them my opinion, and that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah. It's the difference. It's the walk away. Yeah. It's done. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And
which, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I think it's good that you can share your opinions with other people and not feel like judged for it, or like.
There's one thing
you know?
that I want to add to the differences is, if you're seeing your friend and it's self-destructive, that's when I would say this is what's bothering, and then I would step away. This is the only instance that I could see, like, sure, we might have a difference, but if one of those differences is self-destructing, let's say me, for instance, I'm going off the deep end with whatever this is,
Oh, yeah.
And it's pulling me down as a person, and you're my friend.
Yeah. Okay,
You
that makes
can't
sense.
be my friend all the way if this is the only thing that is self-consuming me and pushing me, because eventually I'm going to pull you along with me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be if you agree with it now, but eventually if you care and love that person enough, you will pull with that person.
Which I feel like there just needs to be a discussion there.
Yeah.
Like, if that is the case, like, if something you're struggling with, like, your friends, like, pulling you into something you're already struggling with and you are trying to break away from it or whatever, like, just have a conversation with your friend. And if they really care about you, like, you'll figure it out together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless it's just really unhealthy and you, like, need to walk away. But, like, if it's a good friendship, you guys should be able to, like, work it out. And they should be open to, like, hearing what you have to say and y'all figuring it out together. But yeah, that's definitely a good point.
Yeah. Just wanted to throw that in because I've had that before, and it's definitely difficult to watch, but I couldn't allow myself to be dragged into that, and I had to take a few steps back and say, I love you, I appreciate you, but this is something that I'm not going to put myself into. And if this ever stops or whatever happens, I'll always be here for you, but I'm not going to put myself in that situation, go hang out with you with this situation type deal.
Yeah, I think that's good. And that's also, like, upholding your reputation and you as a person. Like, you just, you're choosing what's best for you, but you're still being, like, a good friend and whatever. And, like, another good thing to look for, I would say, would definitely be, like, trustworthiness. You need to be able to trust your friends, obviously. But being able to, like, trust them when you're, like, telling them stuff, to, like, keep it to themselves. And also trusting them, like, I've seen a lot of things on social media about, like, girls talking about how they're in, like, a friend group and, like, they feel like as soon as they leave the room, like, they know they're the topic.
Immediately there's a gossip about that person.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
That's so sad.
That's crazy to me. I don't understand why people stay in those friendships, because yes, I understand. Sure, you might have a connection with them. That might be your birthing child friend, whatever. Like right out of the womb, y'all are already holding hands, ready to go down the street, whatever. If that's still the case, that's a time to cut off, walk away. There's nothing benefiting you. There's no strength between that friendship. There's no bond between that friendship. There's been a few times where I have messed up in this, and it has really tore me apart. One, it's not totally intentional. Two, the subject that I did spread, I didn't know it was supposed to be kept a secret, tore me apart, because I was like, oh, well, this is something that I can talk about, whatever. Got back around to that person, and I did not know, and that person immediately came to me and talked to me about it. Felt really bad. It's a terrible feeling, and I don't see how people...
Yeah, but you weren't intentionally.
Well, I know.
From what you're saying, you weren't intentionally doing it.
I just don't see how people get something out of that. I understand talking about people, and people come up in conversations all the time.
Yeah.
But the sense of, like, oh, that girl, she gained some pounds.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like
don't
there's definitely
get
differences of, like, talking about, like, people, like you said, come up in conversations.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even
something
know. Like,
that happens, or
are
relationship, like
a
that
big part of
person.
your life. People are going to come up in a conversation. But like you said, like, if you're just sitting over there, like, talking about, like, negative things about them and just
talking
talking
about...
guy
got 5 brow or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A 5 brow?
5 brow. 4 head, whatever.
What?
7 head.
Okay.
Just throwing out insults,
I think
whatever.
you're going a little delusional. But anyways, I get what you're saying. Like, bad talking someone and someone just coming up in the conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just so sad to me, like, to see that there's actually, like, girls out there. And I've seen it before. I've seen other girls be like that.
I heard it a lot,
And
especially in the group of people that we were in when we were growing up. I heard it all the time. During team games, whatever. All the time I was hearing it. And it's ridiculous. Like, sure, you can talk about people. Like I said, it just doesn't have to be bad, negative, or any of that. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, especially people you're like claiming your friends.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, if you're going to go say something negative about your friend to it, like, another quote unquote friend. I don't think any of y'all are really friends, because
friendship is an overused word, I swear.
if your friend knew, like if the friend you're talking bad about your other friend with, if they knew you guys were friends, surely they wouldn't encourage that, you know?
You would think.
Well, okay.
I've seen it more often than not.
I don't think giving your opinion, like if they're going through a situation and they're coming to you, not gossiping, but they're just trying to like talk through what they're going through and their emotions, and that person's giving you advice, like, okay, you know, maybe that girl's not really treating you the right way or whatever, you know, they're giving you advice.
Yeah.
I don't really think that's gossiping.
Yeah.
You know, or talking behind their back. That's just going to someone. Now, if you're going to all your friends and asking them all for their opinion, that's more like gossipy. But like if you have like a friend or two that you go to for advice and you need help in a situation, I don't think discussing situations with them is, you know, like,
I don't think that's a terrible thing.
I don't think that's classified as talking bad about someone else, you know?
And, you know, some people might have a different opinion on that, which...
That's just me. But also, I think it's also important, like, you don't go to a person and discuss it with a person who knows the person. Like, just like with me and you. If I'm having an issue with you, I'm not going to go to our family or, like, someone who knows... Someone who I could taint the view of you on, you know?
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be better if I got, like, a therapist and I was talking to a therapist. Because they could give outside advice without knowing you.
Okay.
You know, like, that's just, like, an example I could think of. But, like, friends. Like, you wouldn't want to go to one friend in the friend group and talk about the other friend in the friend group, you know?
That's interesting, because I've done that before. I've done that before. And this is the reason why. There was a situation going on, and we were talking about, do we really think this is a healthy thing for this person? And this friendship, this is the big circle that we had, and we were talking, is this still healthy? And then we both went to that person and talked about it. And
okay, well, I wouldn't really say it's talking behind their back if you'd go say it to their face.
Yeah, but, I mean, it just depends on the situation as well. But I agree what you're saying. Like, you don't want to go to the person that obviously is in that friend group and be like, he said this to me, and this really hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if it's somebody who... like you're gonna change their opinion on the person, but if it's a friend that has never met this other person, and you just need advice on it, like I don't really see an issue with talking to that person about it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree completely.
But don't just like go tell other people's secrets or personal business that they've told you that they don't want other people knowing. You know. But anyways, that's a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
But
we
basically,
both experienced that one a lot.
Yeah, just finding people who you can trust with the things you tell them.
Yeah.
You're not going to wake up the next day and half the world's going to know. And someone you can trust behind your back, like they're not going and talking crap about you. But you can walk out of a room knowing full well your name is not going to come up, and if it does, that person would stand up for you.
Yeah.
I think that's important. But yeah.
That's that's massive. That's massive.
That's a big can of worms, a huge thing. Anyways, another thing I'd say is you need to have friends that you can have fun with.
Yeah.
And will uplift you and encourage you, but also people that will the same friend that can give you the hard truth in situations.
Oh, yeah.
Where nobody else wants to say it to you because, they don't want to be too harsh. They don't want to hurt your feelings. And, I don't think you should be harsh with your friends, but, love them enough to, step out. Not even correct. I feel like it shouldn't be correct. Because correcting is, I'm up here and you're down here, so I'm going to correct what you're doing.
Oh, I've got friends that straighten me out.
Okay.
You're out of line, buddy.
Maybe it's different with guys and girls, but if a friend comes to me and they come from a point of I'm correcting you, I'm right in all these areas and you're not, I'm not going to listen to that. That's just hurtful. But if a friend's genuinely coming to you and they're like, hey, I'm worried about you, this isn't right. We need to fix this, or how can I help you in this area?
Okay.
Encouraging you and not condemning you is basically what I'm saying. You don't want to feel judged by your friend, but also if you're a good friend, be bold enough to go to that person if they've like given you the permission to like speak into their lives. You know, if you're good friends.
Yeah, don't be doing this on the street. Don't be doing this on the street.
If it's like your acquaintance, maybe don't go tell them. But like if it's your close friend and, you know, y'all talk about each other's lives and you know you have permission to talk openly with them.
It's kind of a feeling you don't really ask for permission. But yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Like if they've opened up and you've opened up and you've both given input on each other's lives. Which I have friends like this, and I have friends that I know will come to me if like I'm
something's out of place.
Yeah, if they think something I'm doing is not necessarily right, or you know, they'll give me advice, they'll pray for me, stuff like that, instead of just coming at it with like a heart of like condemnation
malice or any of that, like ill intent type deal. Yeah,
like I don't even know if it's ill intent, but just don't make yourself look or like present yourself better than other people.
Yeah, I agree.
Which a lot of people, I've actually had a lot of friends say that they think I'm, well, they're not really friends, but people I used to be friends with.
There you
used to be acquaintances with.
There you go.
I've had them tell me like, or say to other people, and it's gotten back around to me that like I'm judgmental and like all this stuff, which has never been my heart, like isn't to be judgmental of people.
Yeah.
But I also feel like some people just like if you live differently than some people, it comes across as judgmental.
Yeah.
You know?
Which you also have to maybe they come from a place of such ill intent on like, you shouldn't act like this. This is terrible. You should never be, you know, that any sort of correction is taken ill-mannered. Like, you're coming after me, this is an attack on me.
Yeah, which some people are definitely like that.
And that you have to make clear that this, I love you and this is what's going on. Can we fix this? If not, whatever. Type deal.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a way to like talk to your friends about stuff without correcting them, like quote unquote correcting them or like condemning them.
Yeah,
like correcting them in a loving way.
Depends. If you've been friends for a long time, you can just get a slap in the back of the head.
Like, maybe for guys, girls don't really do that, but I don't know. I've had friends like correct me on things before, but the way that they do it is in a loving way.
Yeah.
And you know, that doesn't make me that shouldn't hurt you as much as somebody who's like, you know, condemning you and telling you that they're better in an area than you, or you know what I'm saying, which I feel like is kind of common.
Yeah.
Depending on your friendships and stuff. But anyways, so now that we've kind of talked about like high school friendships, friendships in your 20s, all of that, I think we should talk a little bit about what your friendships are like after you get married, because they definitely change.
Oh yeah, big time.
For sure. I think one thing that I've noticed is you, like we said already with high school, when you move on from high school, you have less time with your friends.
Yeah.
When you get married, you have even less time with your friends.
Yeah. Which I feel like can be changed. To this extent, and this is why I bring this up. Having a friend group as a married couple, that is also involved in other married couples, y'all can have more friend groups and y'all can go and spend a lot of times with your friend groups. And if that's what y'all enjoy doing,
yeah, that's true.
I think that's huge. That's awesome. That's good that y'all are, you know, going out and like enjoying yourselves with other people and also being a couple through that. I think you have less time for your self friendships, if that makes sense, or your personal friends.
Like, it definitely makes it easier if you have like a couple that you guys are both friends with, or even as you continue, like I'm sure like when you have kids, that's also important, is to have family that you can hang out with. I don't know, I think friendships after marriage, you just have to be really flexible with your friends. Just be willing to do whatever. If they need to like clean their house or go to the grocery store, like you're willing to go with them. If they can't leave the house one day, you're willing to come, you know, visit, sit around and do nothing. Like which is something I've tried to be better about, is just being involved in my friends' lives. It doesn't have to be like we put makeup on and we go to a cute restaurant and we take Instagram pictures and like, you know, that's our hangout. It doesn't have to be that. Sure, you can do that sometimes. It can be fun, but that doesn't have to be every hangout.
it's nice. It's nice to have those extravagant
Oh yeah,
times.
and you should plan to do fun things with your
Yes,
friends.
but it shouldn't always be an over the top experience.
Yeah, you need to blend your life with your friends' lives.
Yeah.
I know I have friends that I can call and say, hey, do you want to go do this with me? Or like, can you come over to the house today?
Yeah, I'm going to the dentist this day. And then after the
No.
dentist, we can go meet up after the dentist and do this for a little bit.
Oh, that's true,
And then
actually.
I got to go do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do that. And I just think that's really nice. And I feel like my friends could do the same. They could call me and say, hey, like, I need to go through my closet this weekend. Will you come over and do that with me? And I'd be more than willing. I don't know. Just, I feel like that's important to find friends that will, like, blend their lives in with you.
Yeah.
I even have friends with kids. Like, some of my best friends are people who have kids. And I'm fine with just going over and hanging out with them.
Yeah, I'll eat goldfish.
Yeah. I'll sit on the couch with your 5-year-old and have a
We'll watch Bluey. We'll go enjoy that.
I love their kids. Their kids are like my friends too. But yeah, that's something important. I feel like it's just merging your friendships in with
your time schedule,
your marriage, your life, your family, you know. And I feel like we've started to like get friends where we can like merge our lives, and as we like grow, like we're gonna start having kids, and you know, we'll be able to like have our little families together. And I think that's important because like your life is just constantly changing. You need people that can evolve with you and your lifestyle versus just staying stuck at like your high school friendships, and that's what they expect for like the rest of your life. Yeah,
let's go drop everything, go train hopping or something. I don't know, something crazy.
You used to train hop in high school?
Yeah, I did that a few times. Babe. That was fun.
Oh my gosh.
Good stuff.
I hope that's not illegal.
I don't think so.
Probably definitely is.
Probably is.
But yeah, we have a couple friends that we can hang out with that we both really, really enjoy spending time with. And I'm really grateful for that. And I feel like as time goes on, we'll get more and more of those.
More and more.
And the ones we have, we'll get to watch them
grow
their family.
That's cool too.
I'm excited for that. And like our kids can grow up together.
Heck yeah.
And I just think that'll be really awesome.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'd say, obviously, after you get married, it is different, like your gender of your friends, because when I was in high school, I had like a lot of like guy friendships, and some of them, yes, were like, you know, maybe only there because they liked me or whatever. I thought they were my friends, but you know, I found out otherwise. Anyways,
it just doesn't work out, and most dudes aren't going to be friends with a girl if they're not interested in that girl. 99% of the dudes.
Which I used to think they were just my friends. He would always say that. And I was like, babe, no, they're we're friends. Which I don't totally agree with that. I
said 99. There's like a 1% chance.
Because I do agree in some ways, because as soon as we got engaged, I was already distancing myself from those guy friendships.
Disappeared.
You know, because I was trying
Crazy, right? Crazy how that works.
I wanted to like respect you, obviously.
Crazy.
But yeah, like you said, they kind of disappeared, stopped being friends with me. Quite a few of them came to the wedding, but haven't spoken to me since. I do have a couple guy friends though that I have been like friends with like my whole life, and we don't talk or anything. But if I see them, you know, we're friends. Like, I know we're friends. And they'll text me like once a year or something and say, hey. You know what I'm saying?
And I just didn't ever have any friends that were girls that I was friends with for a long period of time.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you didn't really have, I feel like you didn't, like,
I had acquaintances.
The people you grew up with, like that you were friends with since a kid, were guys.
Oh yeah, those my homies.
I grew up around a ton of boys, and like I didn't have little girlfriends. Like mine were like little boyfriends. I was out in the woods, like building forts.
Little girlfriends were like snobby.
I know, but like even even them, they didn't come along until I was like 8. Like I genuinely don't remember having girlfriends until I was like 8 years old. Like from the time I was like 2 to like 8. It was just all guy friends.
Well, that's out of the way. Got that out of the way, knocked that out of the park, and made them all go away. So I'm happy about that.
You like some of them, though.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. We can all be friends together. Obviously, I'm not going to be friends with them.
Joking. They're okay.
Oh, you're so mean. Okay, anyways, whatever. The whole point was that is one area that changes, obviously. Yeah. I mean, depending on your relationship. But I feel like you probably should, not have opposite gender
just
friendships.
making your, I will say this again. I said this before in previous episodes. If you are given the option to cheat, everyone will stumble eventually.
So I feel like obviously it's important to have boundaries.
Yeah.
You don't have to cut everybody out.
All in all, I think just distancing yourself, making a good boundary setting,
group
making
friendship.
Sure that your significant other feels good and happy about it.
Yeah. But yeah, friendship in your 20s, it can be lonely. But just know you'll find your people eventually. There's people out there for everyone.
Might
and I
take
know
a
it can
long
be
time,
I know
but
everybody
you'll
says
find them
that.
eventually.
I know everybody says that, and it's like discouraging when you don't feel like you're finding your friends. But honestly, I feel like since high school, like it's been 3 years since I graduated, and I feel like every year I'm like getting closer and closer to like knowing who, like narrowing my friend group down to like people that I know will be there no matter what, good
Straight
and bad.
shot. Oh yeah.
People who will merge their lives with mine. We're ready to walk hand in hand through anything that happens. They're going to be there to support me. And I'm just really grateful for all the friends I have because
huge.
Yeah, like you lose, like it's so easy to like lose friendships and get disconnected with people and grow distant, and it takes effort from both people. So all the friends that I do have, I'm like very grateful that they've chosen to like stick around, and you know, we've grown our friendship, and I know we can count on them, and hopefully they know they can count on me. And I feel like you feel the same way.
Oh yeah.
With your friends. But yeah, so I feel like we're pretty blessed with our group of people that we're surrounded by, and yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, it was a big
conversation.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you for also listening to us ramble for a while.
Yeah, sorry, that was a lot of rambling, but we hope you enjoyed this episode, and again, subscribe if you haven't already, because we post every Wednesday, and we hope you will join us next week.
Bye.